Yo everyone, it's me again and welcome to the finals game of VDL low tier. We are playing against Vortex once again, who we beat in regular season 2-0. So yeah, no team builder because I played this game yesterday with live commentary, but my commentary did not process, so I have to do a post-com. So you can see Vortex's team has Moltres, Lantern, Donphan, Sylveon, Galate, and an Executor. I have a Skarmory that is Weak Armor, Sword Dance, Rock Slide, Iron Head Reversal, a Terra Fairy Altaria that's Max Fizz Def for the Galate, a Sand Slash that is meant to get up spikes and Rapid Spin away, the hazards on his side, attack boosted energy Iron Release with Sword Dance that outspeeds his entire team, because he didn't bring a Grafaiai. I have an Assault Vest Volcanion that should speed creep his slow Pokemon and still does a lot of damage. I have Heavy Slam for Sylveon, and then I have Toxtricity with the Silk Scarf that should be faster than a defensive Moltres, and it's always faster than a max speed Sylveon. I have Boom Burst, Volt Switch, Sludge Wave, and Encore on Toxtricity. So, as you can see, I'm going to lead off with my Volcanion, because the only Pokemon that I am kinda scared of is maybe the Donphan. The Donphan is also scared of me, and I didn't want to lead into the Alolan Executor with my Sandslash and have to switch immediately, so that's why I am going to lead off with Volcanion. The scariest one on Vortex's team is obviously the Galate, but his Alolan Executor is very scary as well if it's a spec set or if it has Trick Room. So yeah, have fun to Vortex, and let's see if I get this lead action right. Rob is the Donphan, and I lead off with my Volcanion. So, not the best scenario for me, but also not the best scenario for him, so I debate staying in here to just click a raw Steam Eruption, but then again, like, this Volcanion is really bulky, really hard for him to kill, and I don't really want to be taking Earthquake damage if I can avoid it. Like, I can quite easily switch into Sandslash, for example, or into Skarmory, although I am going to preserve Skarmory, because it just wins when the Lantern goes down. So as you can see, I am thinking about clicking Steam Eruption here, doing some calcs. I think the Donphan did like 90% max, so yeah, that's not something I want to be risking. I have a few options. I have Sandslash, I have Altaria, I even have Iron Leaves, but I think I decide on just going into my Sandslash, because it would also catch him if he switches in the Lantern. So I am going into my Sandslash. Let's see if I get the play right and he clicks EQ, or if he switches out himself. So this is my Sandslash. He switches. So if this is Lantern, I look good, Winky, and as we can see, that is the Lantern. So here I can click a free EQ, although the Moltres could come out. I think I do some calcs here to see if Scald does much to my Sandslash, and it really doesn't. So I can decide on clicking Spikes, or I can decide on clicking Earthquake for some damage. Spikes would be nice to break the sturdy on the Donphan, and as you can see, I am going for Spikes. He switches out, which is really nice, so I do get a layer of Spikes up, and he goes into Whomping, which is the Executor. So after two switches, we still have the position that I didn't want to be in, Sandslash against the Alolan Executor, but I do have Spikes up, which is really important. So I don't really have a good switch in. I could go into Skarmory, obviously, but then the Alolan Executor could also have Flamethrower, which is problematic, and I am not bringing a defensive Skarmory. I could go into Altaria, but if he clicks a hard Draco Meteor, that's a really bad play. And like if he Terra Steel, my Altaria just loses to this thing. So I could go into Volcanion, but I decided on clicking Low Kick to see the damage on this thing. And as you can see, it does nothing. This is a very bulky Alolan Executor. His Flamethrower does a lot, but he crits me, and he burns me. So, unfortunate turn, although that critical hit does show me that he is not offensive in the slightest. He has a lot of HP and a lot of defense, might even be max HP, max defense. So my Sandslash got me some intel on the Alolan Executor, but now it's burned and it's very low, so it's very useless. But I do have a layer of Spikes, so that's really nice. He did reveal Flamethrower to catch Skarmory. I'm going into Volcanion here if he wants to click Flamethrower or like Giga Drain. I'm not too scared anymore because it is a defensive Alluring Executor. But he makes a really nice play and he clicks Earthquake on my Volcanion. And he does like 40-ish%. So really good play from him. Really good play. I think I don't have Sludge Wave here, so I have Steam Eruption, Flamethrower, Heavy Slam, and Earth Power. So my best move to click against this Alluring Executor is the Flamethrower. But I am debating clicking something else. Like I could click Earth Power predicting the Lantern, could even click Heavy Slam predicting the Sylveon. But I think the Flamethrower is the safest play to go for, and I don't think I risk it. So, oh, I'm looking at making a double. I don't think I can make a real double actually. I think I just stay in and click Flamethrower, watching this back. Oh, I might be thinking of switching out because my Volcanion doesn't deal with this Executor that well and I do get weakened. But like, I don't have a switch in, so yeah. I am clicking Flamethrower here to get some damage, but he switches out and assuming the Lantern. Winky, yeah, this is the Lantern. But we do get some intel on this Lantern. We get spike damage as well, which is really nice because he is Boots. And my Flamethrower does negative damage, so this is once again an Assault Vest Lantern. My Volcanion obviously doesn't want to stay in. He has a very free T-Bolt or a very free Volt Switch. Like, he could predict me going into Sand Slash and click Scald, but that doesn't matter, the Sand Slash is useless anyway, and if I sack off my Sand Slash here and he kills me, I can go into Iron Leaves and just go in. So, and if I stay in with my Volcanion predicting a Scald, he heals me, so I go Sand Slash predicting a Volt Switch, and his Lantern will click Thunderbolt. So I get this play right. Unfortunately, I do not pressure this Lantern at all because I'm burned, so my Earthquake won't do anything. But I think this is a prime opportunity to design my second layer of spikes. As you can see, my Earthquake won't do anything. He could also just go hard into Moltres, which I don't really switch in well on, unless I want to go Volcanion, but like, if he U-turns on my Volcanion coming out, I get trapped in the Vortex, so I think Spikes is objectively the best play to go for here. I think I'm doing some calcs with Burned Earthquake against this Lantern, because I do need it low for Skarmory. But yeah, I am clicking Spikes to get my second layer up. If he wants to kill me, that's fine. I have speed on Sand Slash, so I should outrun this Lantern. Vortex is stinking. I don't really know what he... I mean, maybe he doesn't want to take an Earthquake, because then he's low and my Toxtricity gets a lot scarier. So yeah, he switches out his Lantern into Whomping the Alluring Executor again. I mean, yeah, that makes sense because I am burned and he is very Fizz Def. But we get another layer of spikes on this Alluring Executor as well. And I have my second layer up. So if his Donphan isn't Rapid Spin, these spikes are going to do a number on him. So this turn here, my Sand Slash is still absolutely useless. I think I just click a third layer of spikes here, get the 25% off on anything unless he gets the Rapid Spin off, and let him kill my Sand Slash. Because then I get the switch initiative, and it is just really damn nice. Like, I could try to predict him by going into Toxtricity, but if he clicks Earthquake here, my Toxtricity just dies. If he clicks Draco Meteor, my Toxtricity doesn't appreciate it. So I think it's just the best play to click Spikes with my Sand Slash and just sack it off. Obviously the Donphan can Rapid Spin easily, but I do have 2 Rappy Helmet mons, and I have a Volcanion, so I click Spikes, third layer goes up, and this Alluring Executor is just going to take out my Sand Slash with a Giga Drain, which is unfortunate. He does get some HP back. Like, this mitigates the Spikes damage I took earlier. So Alluring Executor kills the Sand Slash, he gets first blood in the finals. And now I have to think. Like, he has Terra Steel and Terra Fairy. I think he should be Terra Steel, so I don't go into Toxtricity. And I just go hard into my Volcanion. I think the thought process here is, if I click Flamethrower here, it does the most damage to this Executor. And if he wants to go Lantern, we've seen that it wasn't heavy duty boots. So it will take 25% and a Flamethrower, and I think that puts it in Earth Power range. So I just take Earth Power here. If he stays in, I 2-shot this Executor with Flamethrower, and I don't die to Earthquake. And if I can get rid of this Executor, that is really awesome. If he switches into Lantern, I get a lot of damage with the Spikes damage. And if he wants to go into Sylveon, I can click Heavy Slam after. So Vortex is considering his options here. He doesn't switch in well on this Volcanion in the slightest, so... Like, if he goes to Sylveon and I predict him clicking I click his Sludge Wave, which isn't even a prediction with his Alone Executor out. He takes a lot of damage as well with the Spikes. The Lantern doesn't appreciate it, and his other ones just get clarted by a Steam Eruption or even a Flamethrower. But he decides to Terra. Like I mentioned, Terra Steel or Terra Fairy. I think he should be Terra Steel against my team. And he is. So he clicks Terra Steel, hoping I click Sludge Wave. But I don't have it, so this just guarantees that I can pick it off with a Flamethrower. And I equalize. It's 5-5 now. And I have gotten rid of one of his scariest Pokemon, which I am very happy with. And I have 3 layers of Spikes up, so I think I look in a good position here. Like I mentioned, he doesn't really deal well with his Volcanion. He has Moltres, which isn't coming in. He has Sylveon, which if it comes in, I just take Heavy Slam. If the Lantern comes in, I think I just take Earth Power and weaken it for Skarmory endgaming. If he goes Gallade, I have to switch out. And if he goes the Donphan, I can just click Steam Eruption, put it in Sturdy. If it kills me, my Spikes stay up. And if he clicks Rapid Spin, I just live. So here he has to go Gallade to force me out. But he goes into the Donphan. So, like I said, this is a very easy play for me. He has heavy duty boots, so he will always live the Steam Eruption. But like I said, if I click Steam Eruption here and I put this Donphan in Sturdy range and it KOs me with Earthquake, my Spikes stay up for the remainder of the game, which is awesome. And if he wants to Rapid Spin, my Volcanion lives and this Donphan just goes down. And I could even get a burn, which means I live an Earthquake and it dies the next turn. So I click Steam Eruption, put him in Sturdy. Do I get the burn? I don't. He clicks Rapid Spin and he gets rid of my 3 layers of Spikes. But like I have Donphan at 1 HP, I killed the Alone Executor and I have some nice chip damage on the Lantern. This is a fine trade for me. I do have to switch out now because my Volcanion does not have any speed and Donphan always outruns me at a +1. So I go hard into Altaria here. If he wants to click Earthquake, I live. If he wants to click Knockoff or something else, he just dies to my Rocky Helmet and I don't want to lose my item on anything else. So I go Altaria and he just clicks Earthquake. This Altaria is Brave Bird, Will-O-Wisp, Roost and Defog, so I am forced to click Brave Bird here unless I want to click a Will-O-Wisp, but then I can take a Knockoff which I don't want, so I click Brave Bird. I have this move to always KO Gallade. Like if it's max speed, if it has enough speed to outrun my Toxtricity, and then max attack, rest in HP or in defense, this Brave Bird is always a one-shot, so that's why I have Brave Bird. He preserves his Donphan, which I didn't really expect, and goes into Crookshanks, which is Sylveon. We don't get intel on this item because the Spikes are gone, but I click Brave Bird and I do a lot of damage. I do like 30 to 40%, so this tells me this is a Spudef Sylveon. On Sylveon I can always go into Volcanion, although I am scared of like a Choice Spec Psyshock, so that's what I'm calcing now. But as my calcs tell me, I always live a Choice Spec Psyshock because Volcanion is a really bulky Pokemon. So I am just going to go hard out into the Volcanion. If he wants to set up a Wish and he doesn't click Protect, he dies to Heavy Slam. And if he wants to click Hyper Voice, this Volcanion is just my best answer. So I switch out Altaria, go into Volcanion. I'm kind of expecting him to click Wish. And he clicks Reflect. So this is a Screen Sylveon, which is really annoying. Like really annoying. It's especially annoying because I am a Heavy Slam Volcanion instead of a Sludge Wave Volcanion. But yeah, this is a very good Bing on Vortex's team. That made me kind of think that his Gallade is in a Live Orb Agility once again, like he was in regular season. In prep I was very much expecting a Choice Scarfed one, because the Agility set that he brought last time, he had to preserve it to the end game, which meant I just broke through earlier. And like my team is a lot faster than his, so a Choice Scarfed Gallade would make a lot of sense. But this Screen Sylveon kinda makes me think that he is set up. Here, I am making some calcs, and Heavy Slam doesn't KO this. Steam Eruption does a lot, but I do not want to risk the Lantern being Water Absorbed, so I click Earth Power, hoping to catch a Lantern, but he stays in, which is a really good play. Don't get his Pedef drop, and he clicks Wish. So, annoying this. He could obviously click Protect, but then I think he has screens, Protect and Wish, which can't hit my team, so I'm not sure if he has the Protect. And he might also be overconfident because he does live his Sludge Wave. This Heavy Slam might be a roll to kill him. It's definitely in his favor. If I click Steam Eruption, I kill him with Heavy Slam. But yeah, he lives the Heavy Slam and he clicks Light Screen. So dual screens, Wish, and now he gets all his HP back, which is not great. But we are stalling out some screen turns. Like, as you can see, I have stalled out 3 turns of Reflect. And I need to make sure I keep counting these turns to know if he has Light Clay or not. Here I make the assumption that he is dual screens with Wish and Hyper Voice, so he won't run Psychic or Psyshock. So I go hard out into Toxtricity, because I always take a Hyper Voice really well, and then I can start pressuring. Plus, as I said, I have Encore, so... But he also doubles out, so good play. And he goes out into the Winky, which is the Lantern. So this play works out really well for him, because this is the Pokemon he wants out to deal with my Toxtricity. But that being said, my Toxtricity is also not threatened at all by this Lantern. So I need this thing weakened for Skarmory, so I will just click Boom Burst here to do the most amount of damage on this thing. I might click Sludge Wave to fish for a poison, but click Boom Burst because it does more. And as you can see, it still does absolutely nothing. This is true Light Screen, so he clicks Ice Beam. Does a decent amount of damage. Might be a high roll, might be invested. I don't remember it specifically. But he clicks Ice Beam, predicting me to go Iron Leaves or Altaria, which makes sense. I just need this thing weakened. As you can see now, I realize that he has Light Clay on his Sylveon. So I need to stall out 5 turns of Light Screen, 3 turns of Reflect. But the Light Screen is mostly annoying because I have Toxtricity here. But, as I said, I want to lower this Lantern's HP, and I click Boom Burst again. And here he clicks T-Bolt. Probably expecting me to go Volcanion on an Ice Beam or a Scald, but this is a perfect play for me, because I have Encore, and I am Encoring this thing into Thunderbolt. He can't switch out with Volt Switch, he can't Scald Burn me, he can't Ice Beam Freeze me. He is forced to stay in and click T-Bolt, and that just gives me a really nice next Boom Burst, or I can make a play, but I don't think he wants to stay in with a T-Bolt. So, T-Bolt still does a decent amount of damage. Like, this Lantern does a lot more than I expected it to. Credit to it, because I did not respect it in the slightest in my team builder. That you aren't going to see. But yeah, here I can click Boom Burst to do some damage on the Lantern, but Light Screen is still up and he is Anchored, so I think he switches out. So I was thinking to maybe click Volt Switch, but then if he stays in and he is Volt Absorbed, it's really annoying. And if he decides to sack off his Donphan, like, sure I don't lose anything, and I do stall out some Reflectors, but I could gain some momentum. And I know he is locked into Thunderbolt, so this might be the turn for Iron Leaves to set up. Like, I will not take a lot from Thunderbolt. I can click Swords Dance, I am faster than his entire team, unless he has a Choice Scarf on his Gallade or on his Moltres, and he does not have a single Pokemon that tanks a hit from this Iron Leaves. So I go hard into Iron Leaves on the T-Bolt from Lantern. My Booster Energy procs, so I show him I am Booster Attack, which is really scary for him. Like, this is an adamant Iron Leaves that is still faster than his entire team. Imagine that. So he switches out to Donphan, which is really nice for me, because I do not have an item, so a knockoff should not do much. I make some calcs here to see how much an Adamant Ice Spinner into an Adamant Ice Shard does against me, because that could be a little bit annoying. But my calcs tell me that I always live that, and I don't think he has a Rapid Spin, EQ, Ice Spinner and Ice Shard and is running without knockoff and maybe even without Stealth Rock, so I just click Sword Dance here, expecting a Ice Shard or a knockoff. I click his D, he doesn't click Ice Shard. So now I'm at +2 attack and booster attack. And he clicks knockoff, and this does a shit ton to my Iron Leaves. Like, I did not expect that. I thought it would do like 30% because I don't have an item. But this is showing to be a max attack Donphan, which is quite scary. So I am forced to click Leaf Blade, but I do take it out. And it is not Rocky Helmet, which is really nice. So my Iron Leaves looks in prime position to just clean up this game. Light screen wears off, I also stalled out to Reflect. At +2 and I boosted attack, I Oko Moltres with with Wild Charge. I obviously Oko Galate with Leaf Blade. I KO'd the Lantern with Leaf Blade. And I also KO'd the Sylvan. So here he goes into Galate. And like, I think he could be Scarfed, like I expected in prep, but with Screen Sylveon, I really don't think he is Scarfed. I look up if he has Shadow Sneak, and Shadow Sneak is a move Galate learns, but he needs to be live or Shadow Sneak to kill me. Otherwise I always live it, or he has Choice Band, but like I said, I don't think he's choiced anymore, because he had screens on the Sylveon. So I will just click Leaf Blade to hopefully kill this Galate, and clean up the game. I'm making some more calcs. But yeah, Leaf Blade just KOs this thing. Could also be Focus Sash, I guess, when I click Leaf Blade. But he reveals that he is Choice Scarfed anyway, so I expected that in prep. Nice crit. I expected Scarf in prep, but then he threw me off by bringing a Screen Sylveon. So yeah. In hindsight though, like, I don't have another play. Here I get some nice intel that he's Scarfed into Night Slash. And as you look at my team, I don't really have a switch in. Sure, I could go into Altaria, but then he can go back into his Lantern and heal it up, so it's a little bit annoying. And I don't mind having the intel. My Iron Leaves didn't really do anything else if I saved it, because my booster energy is used up. And I don't have a turn anymore to set up a Swords Dance, because I am at way too low HP after that Donphan damage. So I have to switch out and see what else I'm switching in on this Galate. My Skarmory is meant to take a hit from Galate, break its Focus Sash and put it in range with my Rocky Helmet, and then my Weak Armor procs and I click Swords Dance and I just win. But that is without the Lantern in mind. Like, I don't hit the Lantern in the slightest, so I go hard into Skarmory. But his Galate should never stay in on me. Like, I know he's Choice Scarfed into Night Slash, he knows that I know he's Choice Scarfed. And he has a very free Lantern, which I do not hit. I do some calcs here after a Swords Dance, how much I will do to it with a Rock Slide. But I think it was only 25% and that Lantern is higher, so I might have needed a flinch on the Lantern, which is not something I wanted to risk the game on. And even then, my Skarmory hasn't had its Weak Armor procced, and I just get revenged by the Moltres or the Galate anyway, so I am having to think here if I want to get some damage or if I want to make a play, because we do expect Lantern to come out here. And I think I make this play into Toxtricity, yeah, expecting Lantern to come out. So as we can see, he is still thinking too, so I'm quite scared, but he does reveal that he switches out as well into the Moltres, so no Lantern, which is an interesting play. Obviously he doesn't know that I have Rock Slide, but this is quite fine for me as well. I go Toxtricity into Moltres, which is awesome for me. And my Skarmory has EV to outspeed a defensive Moltres, but it's not guaranteed. And like, if my Toxtricity is faster than this Moltres, it's not guaranteed either that my Skarmory is, but if this Moltres outspeeds my Toxtricity here, then I know that my Skarmory cannot use the Moltres as setup fodder, and that I need my Weak Armor triggered. So I am fine clicking Boomers just to get the information I need if he wants to kill me with Moltres, and if he does, my Toxtricity dies, but I know that my Skarmory needs a Weak Armor. And if not, I get a lot of damage off with Boomers on this Moltres. But he switches out, and he goes into the Lantern, which I do not think takes 2 Boomers anymore. So I click Boomburst, do a lot of damage, which is awesome. And now this Lantern is gone, which means my Skarmory has a field day. As soon as I get a Swords Dance up, I just win. But what I am realizing as well here is that he has Moltres left, which is a special attacker, Sylveon, which is a special attacker, and they choice lock Gallade. And that the Gallade is never going to hit my Skarmory and stay in. So I feel like I need to switch in my Skarmory on the Gallade and then click Swords Dance on a switch out. But if you click Sacred Sword, I lose my HP. I lose my defense and my HP obviously. And then I die to the second one. So it's going to be really hard to activate my Skarmory. This is a really difficult endgame for me. But it's also not easy for him. Because like he has Sylveon and Moltres left, which both lose to Toxtricity and Volcanion. And like this Gallade cannot just stay in all the time. Like he has to attack me, maybe kill something, but then he gets forced out by Skarmory. So if I make some doubles here, he just loses Pokemon. So here I switch my Toxtricity out into Altaria, which should be a Psycho Cut, because none of my team resisted anymore. Oh, Skarmory does. Should be a Sacred Sword then, yeah. It's a Sacred Sword. Doesn't do much to my Altaria, and I get some Rocky Helmet Chip, which is really nice. And I think here I Terrastalize into a Fairy type to not be weak anymore to the Sylveon. And I think I click Roost to keep myself healthy. Although there is a chance I click Brave Bird as well. I'm thinking about switching out. I mean, if I switch out here, I'm expecting him to switch out myself, so this is a double. So he goes into his Moltres, I go into Volcanion, yeah, that's a good play for me. But it's risky if he wants to sting in. And if he goes into Sylveon, I don't think I KO it with Heavy Slam at the HP it's at. So I have a few options. I could go into Volcanion here. I could Roost with my Altaria. I could just click Brave Bird. But I do make it double. So he switches out his Gallade, which is awesome. And goes into the Moltres. Which is incredible, because my Volcanion is healthy enough to never die to a Scorching Sands from this Moltres. And now I can just KO with Steam Eruption or do a lot of damage to the Sylveon, and I think I KO the Gallade as well. So, easiest Steam Eruption of my life. He could U-turn with Moltres, which he does, so he puts me lower. This might be in range of a high roll Scorching Sands if he has it, so that's something to keep in mind. And obviously here he goes into Sylveon because he cannot resist the Gallade. But that means that my Volcanion will just be able to kill it with a Heavy Slam after, assuming I hit. Which I do. I do a lot of damage. So a second Steam Eruption looks like it kills. So like, if I click Steam Eruption here and he wants to preserve his Sylveon and go into Moltres and I click Steam Eruption, I KO it. If I click Heavy Slam, I do risk a Moltres switch out. But like, I'm pretty sure he's just sacking off this Sylveon and I do not want to risk my Steam Eruption missing. So I just click Heavy Slam, he stays in, I KO Sylveon, and now it's Moltres and Gallade, which is choice card, left against 4 of my Pokemon, which is really damn nice. Obviously here he goes into his Gallade because the Moltres loses to this Volcanion, and I need to decide who I am going to sack off. If I sack off Volcanion here, then I obviously go into Skarmory or into my Altaria. But then the Moltres comes back out and I have to go into Toxtricity, which isn't guaranteed to outspeed. If I sack off Altaria here, that's fine, because I get chip damage. I go into Skarmory, and then I have to switch out on the Moltres again. But I decide to sack off my Toxtricity here, because it's not guaranteed to outspeed the Moltres, and this Gallade obviously kills me. And he locks himself into Psycho Cut. So, really awesome. And this might be the turn for Skarmory. Like, this is the turn that I was waiting for with Skarmory. Altaria does not resist the Psycho Cut. And if I go into Altaria and I click Brave Bird, he goes into Moltres. He just clicks a Roost or a U-turn, I'm in trouble. And if I click Roost, like, it's just a long game and my Volcanion does not want to stay in, switch in anymore. So, I go Skarmory to try and go for game. Like I mentioned, I outspeed a defensive Moltres and I do 2-hit KO it with Rock Slide. So here I click a hard Rock Slide on the Moltres, no hesitation, which is such a big play. Obviously, he is locked into Psycho Cut Gallade, so it's obvious. But this Rock Slide does way too much damage, which is not good for me. Honestly, I was expecting to do like 50 to 60% to a max defensive Moltres. But as I do 75, I know that his Moltres is fast, so my Skarmory has to switch out, which is not good. I go hard into my Volcanion because he has to click Flamethrower. And like my Altaria just lets this thing roost for free, which is not something I want. Then my Rock Slide play was for nothing. So I go hard Volcanion, expect him to click Flamethrower and then just hope to live a Scorching Sands. So here goes Volcanion. And his Moltres clicks U-turn. So if I stayed in there, he triggered my weak armor and I would have just won the game. Like, I would have just won the game. Because this Gallade does not want to take 2 Iron Heads. And I would have just won. But now we are in a weird position again. Volcanion has to switch out because it deals with the Moltres. If I go into Altaria again, it's one of those weird things. So, I think the best play here is to go hard into Skarmory, hoping he clicks Psycho Cut, because the Sacred Sword isn't good against my Altaria. And then my weak armor procs, I outspeed this Gallade, and I just KO the Moltres with a Rock Slide after. If he clicks Sacred Sword, this could be an issue because I do not take 2 Sacred Swords, although my Skarmory is EV'd to always outspeed a Scarred Gallade after weak armor. Because yes, I did bring that crazy set in finals. So here I make the Skarmory play, hoping and praying for a Psycho Cut, because that would guarantee me the win. But he clicks Sacred Sword, as you can see that does so much damage, and my weak armor procs. So now I outspeed this Gallade, and I obviously outspeed this Moltres. The Rocky Helmet chip puts this in range from a high roll from Iron Head. I do not have a flying type move sadly, otherwise I would. But I click Iron Head here, hoping to get a flinch or a high roll, but I get a crit. Gallade dies. This crit did not matter. Apparently he was in range from a high roll, like I mentioned. And if he does live and he clicks the Sacred Sword again, he takes out my Skarmory. But I take him out with my Rocky Helmet and then Volcanion Queens. And my Skarmory clicks the Rock Slide to kill the Moltres. And we win finals 3-0 after a very well played game in my opinion. So yeah, I am very happy to have won this game, to have won the season after a very tragic 0-3 start. After my transactions, I didn't drop a single game, so I'm very happy. Thank you all for inviting me to low tier. Thank you all for watching. And yeah, I'm hoping to play again in future seasons. And I will see you all as your VDL low tier champion in future weeks for all the draft battles. Thank you all for watching, and peace.